Greetings, salutations, namaste. This drop is going to focus on two parts. First part is going to be an update for the eclipse cycle we are currently experiencing. And when I say experiencing, I mean the full gerund of that. And how y'all feeling? So we're about to experience the full moon lunar eclipse on the 8th of November. That's Tuesday. I'm recording this about 48 hours before it happens. So we can see the whites of their eyes. But yeah, and then the second part is, and everybody should check it out if you want, but it's kind of for the more hardcore Vedic people. I have a special shout out for an astrologer named Gina, or she goes by AstrologyLoka. So, and she changed my life this week. No shit. So yeah, I gotta give her some major dap and love. So yeah, first part, let's get into it. So before I jump into what we can maybe expect around this lunar eclipse, which is really, you know, a wild card. Lunar eclipses tend to reveal themselves right around the event, but maybe we can get some insight if we jump to next year. And the two eclipse cycles we'll have in these same zodiac signs of Aries and Libra, because all eclipses are linked going back thousands of years, so it's reverberating throughout time, and you can get a very good idea of the wind's direction from events surrounding an eclipse, how that might influence the next year and eclipse cycles that will happen then. So next year we have eclipses in around April, May, as well as October. So the first one has Jupiter involved, or not involved, in April. This is solar eclipse, and in May there will be a lunar eclipse, and Jupiter will have moved from Pisces into Aries, so it will be part of this eclipse on the 5th of May. So again, in October, Jupiter will definitely be part of both of those solar and lunar eclipses. And what does this mean for when you have a Jupiter conjunct Rahu, in this case, the north node of the moon, in an eclipse? First of all, Sun is part of all eclipses also. So you can look at the Sun and Jupiter as kind of authority figures, and they represent different kinds. Sun is the government, usually the federal government, authority figures in that regard, and then kind of Saturn rules local government, from what I understand. But Jupiter rules all authority figures, but the Sun kind of specifically for government. Jupiter handles the other sacred cows like religion and politics, healthcare, doctors, healthcare experts, experts of any kind, PhDs. This is Jupiter's purview. So when you have Jupiter in Aries conjunct Rahu, basically you're going to have sacred cows taken out to slaughter. This is going to shift our focus from looking at authority figures as ruling over people, and the script will be flipped so that the common man will have a say in what goes on in the government. And it's not going to be kumbaya right away, but this is going to start a chain reaction, in my opinion. So now maybe what to expect or what to kind of look for around the current events to prognosticate what next year might hold. I would say with all the planets that are around Swati Nakshatra and Libra during the solar eclipse, this is a nakshatra of individuality, and outside of the box thinking, almost outcast type thinking, because it's really part of the balance of imbalance in Libra. It wants the individual's share, as it were, which is so hard to come by, as I mentioned in another video. So this is why Swati can be quite intense nakshatra. The individual as a voice is sort of the theme that I'm seeing. My hot take is reading the tea leaves of current events. I'm focused on social media. Obviously, there's a lot of war stuff going on, but again, looking ahead, communications, media, social media, news media, all of these things will come under revolutionary change over the next couple of years, and beginning with these eclipse cycles. Saturn's role in all of this, as I was saying, it's going to play a crucial role in the next couple of years. Just before the solar eclipse, Saturn came out of retrograde, went direct, casting its 10th aspect, its exaltation aspect, on Libra, where it's exalted. And from Dhanishta Nakshatra, which is this nakshatra like Swati of an individual, and specifically fame, of high-tech innovation, and specifically geared towards community and group endeavors for the benefit of all, the collective. So again, my hot take, kind of reading the tea leaves of current events, you have the switching hands of Twitter going to Elon Musk, who is now championing a more free speech oriented approach to social media, which I fully endorse. That I would have a hard time imagining how anyone could be against free speech, but to each his own. That being said, I don't know much about Elon Musk as an individual. I've actually never done his chart. I should. But he's kind of all over the place, so I've kind of avoided having any kind of hot take on him over time. But a guy I do have a fondness for is pissing a lot of people off. And I like a lot of people who piss people off, so what are you going to do? Is Mr. Ye himself. And he apparently is jumping into this fray as well, doing a bid for another social media platform. So there is, again, going into next year and looking at what Saturn is going to be doing while it's aspecting Libra now, it's going to move into Aquarius and cast its third aspect on Aries over the next year in 2023. So it's basically taking its focus off Libra and putting it on Aries while it's going into Aquarius, which is the zodiac sign of the communal consciousness, the collective consciousness, what is good for society. And this is Saturn's house, so it's very strong here. And this is, once again, you have the common man merging with this nakshatra of Dhanishta, where all this is getting jump-started. And Dhanishta goes into Aquarius as well, for those counting at home. And Aries being this zodiac sign of the individual, it's the first sign of the zodiac, Saturn aspecting it with its third aspect, which very often deals with communication, one's self-efforts. This is a very complementary energy to what it's been doing in Libra, which is the house of agreements. So it's going to move its focus going into Aquarius. I feel like I maybe made the point, but I keep talking, so I'm just going to shut up. And another reason to have faith and optimism that these shifts in the social media and mass communication landscape are for the good. You can look at where Mercury was during the solar eclipse, exalted in Virgo, in Chitra, which is a great nakshatra for, again, expressing one's individuality. There's a theme going on throughout this zodiacal system right now, and it's bringing power back to the individual. Now, that being said, Mercury might be the issue around the lunar eclipse. It will be in hard combustion, meaning it'll be almost an exact degree to the sun, while the in Libra, while the moon is going to be in Aries, being aspected obviously in this eclipse. So what might happen is communication breakdown. Specifically, moon is going to be with Uranus almost an exact degree. And I'm not one for the exoplanets, but there's definitely something there, and transits to observe. And Uranus has to do with, a lot of the time, electrical grids or power, and it's specifically sudden events having to do with power. So you could see power grids go down, or some attempt to block communication. These could be intentional or unintentional. But, certainly, again, reading the tea leaves of current events, there's a lot of shenanigans around elections. So this could be what potentially happens. Another potential thing to look out for, and stay frosty, keep your heads on swivel, especially around the election day, is the nakshatra that the moon will be in, which is Bharani, having to do with the cosmic goddess screaming for justice through the god of Yama, the god of death. So it's impossible not to see some kind of warlike scenario playing out, especially when you look at what's going on. These planets in Libra have actually moved into Vishaka for the lunar eclipse, and Vishaka is even more of a warlike oriented nakshatra than Svati. Libra is the natural house of war, as well as relationships and business dealings. Another thing that could happen is certain factions could be using misinformation or disinformation to perpetrate violence between individuals, incite riots and that sort of thing. Be careful to what you hear, because it's not necessarily going to be the first ring. It's not going to be the bell of truth necessarily. And yes, especially because Bharani has to do with justice, there could be the arrest of a prominent figure to potentially incite these types of violent situations. And the criminal justice system, again, will be on the spotlight because Bharani deals with that as well. To put a button on the eclipse talk, another little preview of next year will be, as I was saying, Jupiter will kind of represent authority figures being put in the spotlight for their day in court, as it were. What might happen, especially because in October, Mars will be coming into Libra during that series of eclipses. And because Mars is with Ketu, and Mars represents the soldier, and we'll be looking at Aries, its house, you might expect military operations or military event, but it might even be something that we don't even know about, like covert stuff, because Ketu is the headless node of the moon. So Mars and Ketu have a special relationship. When they come together, it's like almost, it gives Ketu a head to utilize. So should be interesting times. Yeah, I recently responded to one of the lovely people that I've gotten to meet as a result of having this channel now, and expressed to her my optimism that next year would be a more stabilizing year than 2022. And it's apropos that I'm kind of, referring to this video is the one that, I'm saying I know nothing. I definitely am a student of life, and this particular sacred science humbles me at every turn. But I would say, as far as next year goes, it's the beginning of stabilization. I just want to clarify that. It might get crazy, but this is what I've been kind of trying to emphasize. It's for the greater good. When you have Saturn coming into its own houses, there's always going to be tumultuous times because Saturn is the culture shifter. It's the the zeitgeist master. So you're going to have interesting times to live in, as the Chinese proverb goes. The other thing is, around that time of the eclipse in October next year, there's going to be 4 planets kind of in retrograde, late August, early September at the same time. So you can kind of see this stutter start energy around that eclipse. There's going to be quite a bit to talk about then. Yeah. So now I'm going to transition into my love letter to AstrologyLoka, and started off with saying something she always emphasizes, which is, if you only have your zodiac by your birth chart by Western tropical system, I implore you, and Gina implores you, and all Vedic astrologers implore you, have it updated to a Vedic chart. And she recommends a site I went to called Deva Guru, and I'll put the link on the screen. And just plug it in and see. You're going to see that everything is one zodiac sign different, like adjacent to where you thought it was. And the quick and dirty reason why this is around the time of 100, 200, 300 AD, what was actually happening was Roman Empire was falling. And in order to survive, they consolidated their power into the Roman Church. And it was actually formed in Turkey, so it was the Church of Constantinople. And it's sort of if you can't beat them, join them. So he became a Christian because the Christians, and after the Jews had been rioting for hundreds of years, the Christians took up the mantle and rioted. So this is what happened during this period: is Roman Empire became the Roman Church via Constantine. Another thing that happened during this period is someone named Ptolemy came up with this Western tropical system that doesn't use what I consider to be idiot-proof technology, which is observation and confirmation. When you look at a planet backgrounded by a zodiac sign, that is how the Vedic sidereal system works. The way that the tropical Western system works is they have to figure out where the sun hits the equator, and then from that point calculate what's out there. It just doesn't even makes my head just go. So anyway, I'm so excited to share this. I've been studying Vedic astrology for like 5 years now. Really hardcore for like 3, maybe 4, I don't know. It's, like I said before, it's kind of an obsession. It's hard for me to have a conversation with people without like injecting astrology somehow. But, you know, there's other boring shit that people force me to listen to. So anyhow, on to Gina, AstrologyLoka. I'm so excited to put her on blast here. Her videos are really extraordinary. For anyone who wants to learn Vedic astrology, she is a source for sure. And this one, I think she did earlier this year during a pretty tumultuous time in my life, so I didn't even check it out until the last couple of weeks. And so the precursor is, for those who don't know what a Mahadasha chart is, this is kind of the king chart of Vedic astrology. When you're born, you were born with the moon in a certain nakshatra, and the ruler of that nakshatra is a certain planet, and that planet is the first planet in your Mahadasha schedule. So throughout your life, this schedule changes and determines the sort of superior planetary energy that will influence you through the moon, which is the most important element in our chart. So with this Mahadasha schedule, you can see dates so precise, it's scary, uncanny. And I would see it work really well for other people. And there was a certain sense I could make of it with mine. But to be honest, one of the reasons that I started studying Jaimini, which is another system, so I use like 4 different charts when I'm doing predictions, 2 in Jaimini and 2 in Vimshottari, and overlay for confirmation. And with Vimshottari Mahadasha, the king chart, I would see it work well for others and not as much for my chart, and I would always kind of wonder why. And Gina explained to me why. So for half of the people, more than half of the people, a normal Mahadasha chart isn't going to be optimal. If you were born with your moon in any house other than the Kendra houses or the Trikon houses, which are 1, 4, 7, 10, 5, and 9, you will have to recalculate your Mahadasha. In addition, and this is where I came into play, if your moon is in a sign that is ruled by your Atmakaraka, which is the highest degree planet in your birth chart, and tells an extraordinary amount about your karmic direction in this life. If your moon is in this planet's house, you also have to recalculate. So the long and the short of it is, I thought I was starting a Mahadasha earlier this year, like just a couple months ago actually, and it turns out I'm like halfway through that Mahadasha. And this is, yeah, I'm still reeling. Anyhow, Gina, I don't know what to say, sweetheart. Blessings to you and blessings to everyone else. This is a incredible field of research that we need more aspirants, more devotees to, and people who just want to use it for utilitarian purposes. That's my aspiration, is to bring that power to the individual, being able to use it in their day-to-day life. So until next time, everybody be safe and namaste.